This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. Despite record-breaking visitation last year, tourism is now considered a casualty in the Taswater debate. The government says boil water alerts and dirty rivers are drying up investment dollars. But Rebecca White will consider reversing the takeover if she wins the next election, unless she is convinced it's the right way forward.
A clean and green image in this new advertisement. Until you look a bit closer. Sewerage-soaked rivers and towns where you can't drink the water. Just more reason to take over Taswater, according to the government.
We need to have world-class water and sewerage, not third world.
Politically, the government's going in alone. Federal help is all but ruled out, and Labor's offering its own fix. But this ally points to very public evidence something needs to be done, claiming the Tamar is up the creek.
For us to have a B-grade river that's below the acceptable standard can't continue, so the Chamber fully embraces an approach that simply is about getting on with it.
Hard to swallow for Taswater, which is named one of only 2 waterworks nationwide not offering fully drinkable water across its system, in a new report. So what happens if Rebecca White wins the next election? She isn't ruling out rolling back the changes.
And I think people will have a lot of questions to ask before they're going to get any chance of getting that Parliament to pass that legislation.
She says it's all a waste of money because Taswater is already on track to fix its problems. Whether she's on track to win majority at the next election is still questioned.
It's quite simple because of the maths. They can't gain an absolute majority as a Labor opposition.
On the numbers, let's see what happens when the election's called.
Meanwhile in Canberra, the Energy Minister has spoken with his federal counterparts on selling renewable energy to other states. Malcolm Turnbull is reportedly on board with the idea of expanding our capacity, although no commitments have been made.
It's fair to say that maximising hydro energy is a key part of the Commonwealth Government's plan for addressing the nation's energy issues.
Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
A recount in the Braddon state electorate is officially underway. Candidates can nominate for the North West seat over the next 2 weeks. Braddon becoming vacant following the resignation of former opposition leader Brian Greene from Parliament. Although former MP Brenton Best is considering a tilt for the seat, Labor leader Rebecca White says she hasn't spoken to Mr Best because he wants to run on an independent ticket. A 24-year-old male motorcyclist is in a critical condition with spinal injuries in the Royal Hobart Hospital following a head-on crash with a Holden sedan in the state's south on Sunday. The rider from Veronia Sands was travelling north on the Channel Highway at Gordon and was overtaking a truck when the accident occurred. The driver of the sedan, a 63-year-old female from New Zealand, was treated for minor chest injuries. 3 other occupants of the vehicle, all from Queensland, were uninjured. With racism an ongoing issue in the wider community, many local schools are tackling it head-on. As part of Harmony Day celebrations, Cosgrove High School is playing host to events that celebrate diversity within their community, starting with a friendly clash on the sporting fields.
Students were given the opportunity to show off their sporting skills and make new friends while they're at it.
Just breaking down the barriers, that's one of the big things that we're trying to do, and we can do that through sport, through food, through music, through performances, and then, slowly but surely we're making progress here.
Cosgrove, Newtown and Glenora High students embraced the opportunity to get to know one another and spread the message of equality and harmony.
Actually, I'm from Nepal, and it's pretty good with other friends. I don't really have many Nepalese friends in here, but I'm pretty much enjoying with Australian friends. They are pretty good, yeah. Similar, same people, yeah, and same hearts, yeah.
I think it's good because then we bring all different cultures in through sport, and then we all get along.
Meanwhile, 18 students from Kingston High School have signed on to the Z Club Charter, a group that advocates for student-led community services. The young women will meet fortnightly to discuss what they can do for others in the community who are less fortunate.
We're envisioning them looking at how they can support young girls and women in our local community, for example, supporting women's shelter with hygiene products, for example.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
He's walked 3,500 kilometres over 13 years, capturing the stories of human encounters, compiling these moments into flip books and presenting them to audiences all over the world. Volker Gerling arrived in Launceston today as part of this year's 10 Days on the Island, where he will present his Portraits in Motion. Gerling today visiting City Park, happy to show off his works and at the same time look for new human stories.
If I meet really special people and if I have a really intimate encounter with a story behind that, I ask people if I could photograph them for a new flipbook portrait.
10 Days on the Island will see 80 events held across Tasmania and features performers from 15 different countries. Two of Tasmania's most sought-after actors will take to the stage this evening to perform E-Baby, a production about the world of online surrogacy. The project for the Tasmanian Theatre Company, as part of 10 Days on the Island Festival, is the first time Katie Robertson and Jane Longhurst have collaborated on stage. The play was written by Jane Carfarella, who says the inspiration for the story came from her work as a journalist researching both sides of surrogacy.
In Melbourne, the audience didn't leave after the show. Same with Sydney, they came back to tell the theatre how they couldn't stop talking about it. It's a play that gets people laughing, crying and talking.
It doesn't offer answers, it just throws up these, they're real kind of, what would you do if you were in that situation kind of moment.
Tickets for the performance are available from the 10 Days on the Island website. A mural designed by Tasmanian Aboriginal artist Auntie Judith Rose Thomas has been unveiled in a special ceremony in Launceston today. The mural features contributions from community members with no previous art experience, with the project aiming to showcase what people can achieve.
That to me is a very important issue, because when someone says, I can't, then I love showing them that they can.
The launch featured a traditional dance and coincided with a health expo at the Kings Meadows Community Health Centre. Now a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The share market has closed lower after an uninspiring lead from US markets on Friday. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 20.7 points. Short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 77.27 US cents and 71.78 euro cents.
2017 State League season is just under 2 weeks away. Over the coming nights, we have a look at how each team is positioned. Off the back of today's season launch, tonight we look at Lauderdale and Burnie, while Tigers are still officially without a coach.
11 days out from round one, Tigers are coachless, but a board meeting tonight should see the issue resolved, at least in the short term.
We've got to make a decision. Do we look for a temporary coach, as in a coach for this season, looking forward to the future years, or whether we start looking for one of those now?
Scott Matheson was sacked after failing to gel with his playing group. President Steve Old says the right call was made to cut ties on the eve of the season, and that the board takes responsibility for the appointment.
Quite rightfully, the footy administration, i.e. the board, has to take full responsibility for it.
It's not all doom and gloom for the yellow and black. Playing assistant Marcus Davies says the young crop is beginning to bear fruit.
In the past few years we've had 15-year-olds playing. I can't see that happening now. You know, we've got 5, or probably 8 in the Mariners system, and there's probably 5 that have got really exciting big years from a draft point of view.
At Lauderdale, the Bombers playing list has faced significant turnover.
We've lost Siggins, Wiggins, Waller, Cassidy, Tate Turvey. So they're all really good players.
But Darren Winter isn't shirking away from aiming for the higher reaches of the ladder.
So look, we're still hoping to play finals and hopefully secure a top 3. We never lose sight of that.
He's also taken aim at the NWFL following Bernie's departure from the competition, saying unfair restrictions led to the Dockers being unable to field teams.
Everything that's come back out from what we're seeing and reading has been really disappointing, and we hope that they treat people in their competition a little bit better than they treated Bernie.
The Dockers TSL side all set for a transition year from competition juggernaut to exciting up-and-comer.
Decided to sort of, obviously change our structure with our football club and look to now create and develop from within.
They play Tigers in round 1 and say youthfulness doesn't translate into weakness.
The older guys we've still got, there's some big bodies out there, so we won't be pushed around this year.
Chris Rowbottom, Southern Cross News.
The Hobart Chargers are hoping their second American import will light up the deck this season. Chris Whitehead is an excitement machine. His task to get the fans off their seats.
Another piece to the Chargers' 2017 puzzle fitted. American import Chris Whitehead arriving in the state. Close friends with Siebel MVP Jeremy Kendall. He's hoping to replicate the efforts of the Brisbane Bullet.
I would love to do the same thing he did, but he had a great season, MVP and finals MVP, so if I could repeat what Kendall did, it would be lovely.
Whitehead will fill the shoes of excitement machine Jared Weeks, the point guard charged with adding flair and scoring power to the side.
I'm very quick, so I can get to the rim, sneak behind defenders and play defence as well, and then create for others on the team, make everybody better.
A connection with Shane Heal and coach Anthony Stewart getting the 24-year-old to Hobart.
I would see him definitely as a prolific scorer in the league with the ability to get other people involved in the game, which is what we need.
The Chargers meet bitter enemy Northwest Thunder at the deck on Saturday night. Despite a prominent build-up to the season, Stewart says all the pressure is on his coastal rivals.
You asked me where the pressure would be, I would say it's on the Northwest firmly at this stage of the season.
The club will welcome Australian Sudanese recruit Matang Muo to Tasmania tomorrow. A former NBL captain will also suit up with the team for 4 games. He's expected in the state on Thursday. Chris Rowbottom, Southern Cross News.
Good evening. Hobart and Devonport 19 today. Launceston recorded 25 and Burnie 20. Cressy and King Island the high. That was 27, shared with Launceston Airport. Morning fog in the north and a few showers over the southeast. Not much though. Nugent just 1 millimetre. Flinders Island 26 degrees. Scottsdale, Sheffield and Bridport 25. Ouse 24. Bushy Park, Lyawini and Strawn reached 23. Lowhead 22. St Helens and Friendly Beaches 21 degrees. Campania and Wynyard 20. Low and middle cloud surrounds Tasmania. There is a band of mid to upper level cloud in the Bight that's associated with a mid-level low. The eastern states and the top end have thunderstorms. The rest of the country mostly cloud free. Low-level coastal cloud about the south-east and central north today, fairly clear over the remainder of the state. Tomorrow, a weak low-pressure system finds its way over eastern Bass Strait. A low-pressure trough extends from New Zealand through Victoria and north to the tropics, where the monsoonal trough is also doing its business. Winds east to southeasterly at 10 to 20 knots. They'll tend south to southeasterly during the afternoon before increasing to 20 to 30 knots, swells to 3 metres in southern waters. Strong wind warning in the west from Low Rocky Point up to and including Flinders Island. Tuesday in Hobart, a showery one, 20, 21 for Adventure Bay, a shower or 2 for Tarraleah and 20 degrees. Launceston, showers developing, 23 firstly, 22 for Devonport, rain increasing for Bridport and a high of 21. Burnie, rain increasing, 22 the top, 21 for Strawn with a late shower, rain for Marrawar and 20. While for St Helens, showers increasing, 20 the top, 20 for Swansea, Whitemark, some rain and 23 degrees. There's the UV. It's on the slide, but still high on the fringe of moderate at 6 and 7. On Wednesday, rain in the northeast, easing to showers in the early afternoon. Showers elsewhere, contracting to the northeast and southwest. On Thursday, mainly fine apart from a possible shower over the southeast and far northwest. Fine on Friday apart from a possible shower over the east, south and far northwest. A bit going on. Lots of wet weather on the North Island tomorrow. Possible storms for Perth and Darwin. Showers forecast for most other centres. Rain for Canberra and heavy falls expected in Melbourne. It's cloudy in Hobart, 16, still okay in Launceston, 21 degrees, 19 degrees in Devonport. Great to see Jo Palmer back after her tour with Adele. And how were your premium package titanium tickets, Jo?
Fabulous. Thank you very much. Thanks, Merv. Well, that's all from the team for now. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night.